Hello and welcome to Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television. I am Kendi Bodun.
And I am Henry Igwebike.
Well, happy new year. We are so delighted to start this new year with you. And you know, Henry, during the crossover night, right, the atmosphere changed naturally, automatically, and everybody, in fact, when we just, you know, when the pastor said Happy New Year, it was as if we're in another world entirely. So let me just ask you this before we go into what we have for them. What is that New Year word you carried into the New Year during crossover night?
Well, I would love to shock you. Sadly, I didn't carry no word to. Yes, because for me, New Year is more like an illusion.
Are you serious?
Yes, it is an illusion because it's same old, it's same us, right? So there ain't no difference between the 31st of December, right, and the 1st of January. It's just the same thing. It's just the same you. It's an illusion. It's just a thought, right? The calendar that we have today, right? The calendar we have today actually started from Julius Caesar in 45 BC. Then Pope Gregory the 13th now changed it, and it became the Gregorian calendar. Right? So all of this are just human make-up, just to keep us busy. I think the most important thing for us, yes, is just to keep us busy. The most important thing for us is us becoming the best of ourselves, right? Be your brother's keeper. Ensure that you treat the fellow person the way you would love the fellow person to treat you. Let's make the world a better place. That's for me the most important thing. So it's not about the movement from why we didn't move.
Well,
nobody moved actually.
That's your own opinion.
Well, it is the general opinion actually.
Okay.
Yes,
you
the
want
reality.
To generalize
no, it is a reality actually. But welcome to 2026 according to the Gregorian calendar. And this is Enterprise Morning. Thank you.
And as always, we'll begin with a quick look at today's newspaper headlines before diving into our major conversation of the day. And trust me, you don't want to miss any moment with us this new year. You can join the conversation by liking, following us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. You can also share. So joining us virtually this morning is Barrister His Greatness Agadaigo. Thank you so much for joining.
Good morning, Barrister, and welcome to 2026.
Yes, so.
Good morning and happy New Year 2026, a year that my church has declared as a year of extravagant grace. And if I would just jump into the conversation, I want to completely disagree with Mr. Henry.
Okay.
An illusion. The Bible says that, "Oh Lord, teach me to number my days, that I might apply my heart to wisdom." You know, something that happened in the last year on the 25th of December, Christmas Day, at about after 2 a.m. I lost my auntie.
Oh wow!
I lost my aunt. In disagreeing with Henry, New Year gives us another opportunity, second chance or third chance to do the right thing, to know that our time here on is highly limited, is highly restricted. So we must endeavor to work while it is day, because night will come when we can no more work. So New Year is not, I want to be emphatic, it's not an illusion, it's an opportunity, it's a reminder that our time here on earth, even if we are going to stay for 120 years, is highly restricted, is highly limited. So we need to do the right things. We need to act on our priorities. We need to fulfill our goals and objectives. The reason why we believe we have been called to our profession, to our vocations, to our calling, we need to do it, and we need to do it fast. Quick says the time. What you have to do quick. That's what every New Year is telling us. Do things quickly. Do the right things quickly. Our time is limited. There's a time that we will not have opportunity to speak. Even me, His Greatness Agadaigo, there's a time I will not have opportunity to speak on Enterprise TV anymore. So as much as I have opportunity, I must try as much as possible to properly acquit myself, to say the right things fearlessly, boldly, comprehensively, and intelligently and resourcefully in a way and manner that will transform our generation. So new year, new opportunity. But the question is, are we going to take full use of the opportunity that another year, 2026, brings. Mr. Henry, my sister, are we going to take the opportunity and maximally utilize it? So that's my thinking, and I hope Henry will agree with me.
Thank you so very much, Barrister. You are a learned personality, and I would always agree with you. Most importantly, what my take home from what he said was do the right thing quickly, right? Which is same thing that I equally say. The most important thing is for us to be good persons, good people. And when we do it, I love to believe the universe, God, will be excited and happy with us. It doesn't make any sense that you borrowed yourself from 2025 as a bad person and you introduced yourself still as a bad person in 2026. It doesn't really make any sense.
You're not giving out anything.
Yes,
school, right?
yeah, definitely. So let's kickstart today, interestingly, with the first daily on our desk. The Punch newspaper, it is big story. Banks' bad loans spike after CBN withdraws forbearance.
Okay, still on the new year, still in the new year season. Remi Tinubu, governor's wives welcome new year babies.
And also we have Wike, Bauchi governor, lock horns over terrorism financing claims.
Okay, beside that, we have bandits launch New Year Eve attacks in Plateau State, Ondo State, and Kwara State.
And also Bodija, 30 billion federal government funds still untouched. Makinde tells Fayoshe. So, Barris, I would love us to any other big story.
Yeah,
there.
we have First Bank successfully completes 500 billion naira capital raise. Well,
Mr. Otedola is really making so much, for himself. He practically owns the First Bank right now, and it's good for him. So it's private business. But let's take a look at national issues, right, for a bit. Barrister, let's take a look at Wike, Bauchi governor, lock horns over terrorism financial claims. A couple of days back, we saw the EFCC going after lots of Bauchi State's governor's aides and his people, the former commissioner of finance, I love to believe, and so many people were alleged to have stolen $6 million US. Amongst those money, they said that they were using it to support and finance terrorism. Now, the Bauchi State governor is saying that all of this he attributed to Wike, who is using that to winch hunt them with the PDP. That is just a political fight and not really true. What's your take on this, knowing that you are a card-carrying member of the PDP yourself?
Yes, I will completely agree with the Bauchi State governor. Why is it that it is now all of a sudden these issues have come up? During the Muhammadu Buhari era, the authorities kept telling us that they have the list of terrorist sponsors. Up till today, they are yet to release. They are yet to release any list. So if the Tinubu government came and said they have list of terrorist sponsors, what is stopping them from making it public? Up till now, there's no public release of the list.
So don't you think the Bauchi State governor's release is part of it now? They say it's better late than never. So don't you think that this is part of the list that you have been questioning that should have been released before now?
Is it only the name of Bauchi State governor that is inside the list? Even if you want, Malami told us that they have list of sponsors. Now they are accusing the same Malami that he is a terrorist sponsor. If you watch, the allegations have been brought forth against him. So it is questionable and highly suspicious, and even the timing too is questionable and suspicious. So and why is it that it's only for now? It's only Malami and the Bauchi State governors who are clearly not in favor of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's second term agenda that are on the list. So, and again, it is not for the EFCC to be making public statements. What we want to see is comprehensive investigation. You know, many times, I really think that if we need reforms in the justice sector, so that there must be a threshold that must be achieved in terms of indictment before charges are preferred against any citizen of Nigeria. Of course, I'm sure you are aware that the police have consistently abused their prosecutorial powers. If they want you to force you to settle, what they do is that they will charge you to court and probably and likely remand you in prison custody. So whether it's a civil matter, whether it's a land matter, whether it's a tenancy and matter, landlord, landlady and tenant matter, whether it's simply a husband and wife matter, when the police have taken you to court and they are prosecuting you under 419 for whatever, false pretense, false manipulation, false conversion of property or resources, you'll be prepared to enter any kind of settlement. So the prosecutorial powers of agencies of government, such as the EFCC, they must be curtailed in the sense that there must be a threshold that must be achieved. In the US, you cannot even just charge anybody to court. They will bring you before a grand jury. A grand jury will look at the charges, the reports of the investigation, investigative report, conclusive investigative reports, and all the facts. They'll carry out another investigation before they will now give an indictment based on which the suspect will now be charged to court. In Nigeria, you just go to a police station or write a petition to a police station or EFCC, then the suspect is just carried to court. No proof of evidence, no investigation, no independent verification of witness testimony. You just charge people to court. And when you charge people to court without proper investigation, it's a violation. It's a gross violation of the rights of citizens. Because I can assure you that just standing on the dock and say you are guilty or not guilty, it amounts, if they find out that, oh, this person need not to have even been charged, to have been arraigned. So that arraignment means taking your plea, guilty or not guilty. The irreparable damage in terms of trauma that citizen suffers in standing in the dock and taking his plea cannot be compensated financially. There's no financial money, reward, compensation you offer that individual that will serve as adequate compensation. And this is what many Nigerians face daily, that they are arraigned when they ought not to be arraigned. Their rights are violated by being arraigned when they ought not to be arraigned. And you know, one of the easiest way to watch when one thing that happens again with all these security and agencies is that after they may have arrested you for more than 48 hours, which they ought not to do, the next thing, whether there's prima facie evidence or not, they just charge you to court. So that it will be that, we didn't violate his rights, we charged him to court. They don't even stop the brigandage at that point. That, oh, we arrested somebody we ought not to have arrested. Even arresting somebody you ought not to have arrested is a gross violation of his rights, because you must, or the law, according to Supreme Court's interpretation, is that before you even arrest an individual, you ought to have carried out an investigation. And that investigation ought to have indicted that citizen before you are permitted to arrest him. Not that somebody is writing petition and the next where you are starting your investigation from is to arrest the suspect. It is gross violation of his fundamental rights. So coming back home, the way and manner EFCC have come up to bring this allegation against the Bauchi state government sounds suspicious. Sounds suspicious. All of a sudden, prompt up charges. If the FCC, in trying to preserve what is left of their integrity and reputation, they must do away with this quick approach to arrest, make news, make headlines. That's not how investigation is done anywhere in the world. If you watch the FBI, at times they follow in carrying out diligent investigation. They'll be doing it discreetly. It will even come to public arena for years. Investigation is not overnight, quick fix, all of a sudden, and at the end of the day, you now end up the matter will be struck out for lack of diligent prosecution. You wasted the resources of EFCC, of government, of taxpayers. You wasted the judge's time that would have used to attend to more serious cases. You wasted lawyers' time. You embarrassed the defendant for no just cause, and you now bring the entire justice administration chain, value chain, and sector to public ridicule.
Okay.
So So my call on the EFCC is stop this media investigations, media stunts. Do your investigation quietly, discreetly. The suspects and defendants should be the last you invite. Carry out when at the point you are even inviting the suspect. If you make them aware, they'll cover their tracks. So do all your investigation. Look for the suspect, all the witnesses you need to look for. Look for all the leads that have manifested themselves in the course of your investigation. Follow them up. Get clear, comprehensive outcomes. Then the last part of your investigation to EFCC and police is to now invite the suspects, if he's so indicted, and now get his own side of the story there before we talk of charging to court. Not you put the horse, Abi, which one now? You put the cat before the horse.
Before the horse. Yeah.
Pursue shadow, you leave substance, and you bring Nigeria to a complete embarrassment. And that's the reason, perhaps that may be one of the reasons Donald Trump has now referred to us as Nigeria, that disgraced country, because of these perpetual tendencies. And that's why, starting from where we started from, I'm using this opportunity to call on the FCC, to call on the police, to call on the DSS, to call on all other investigative law enforcement agencies to put up a new leaf in this year 2026. Do away with those embarrassing and ridiculous procedures of the past. Follow due process, follow proper procedure, obey the rule of law. This is a new year, 2026, a new opportunity for you to restore the confidence of Nigerians on our law enforcement agency. So please, this is a new opportunity, new hope. Do the right thing and do it timelessly.
All right. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, and I hope they do the right thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at the Vanguard newspaper. The Guardian newspaper, thank you. Rivers, Wike Fubara rift deepens as parties mobilize support for 2027. So, Barrister, do you think, or how does this affect governance in Rivers?
Especially, Barrister, you are your member, Nyesom Wike, who hasn't officially defected to the APC, so he's still substantially with the PDP and is vying for opposition and all that. So what's your take on everything happening in Rivers State? Nyesom Wike, Fubara, both. What's happening here?
First of all, let me put the record clear. Right from 2023 general election campaign, Wike worked for APC government, APC party, all progressive. He worked for them, and from then, Wike has not crossed over, has never crossed over to pursue the interests of PDP. And even in becoming a minister, he has always pursued the interests of the APC.
But he's still a category member of the PDP.
He tries to pretend that he's still a PDP member because it gives him relevance. I'll get there. It gives him much more relevance in the Tinubu government to be like a destroyer of the PDP from within. You know, the worst enemy you can have against your family is not the government or a big man outside. It's a member of your family. A member of your family. When he's working against the interests of your family, he's a very dangerous person because he will access your family secret. He knows where your secrets are. He knows where your keys So he knows the best way to wreck it has been doing. So Mr. Wike, and he has not been pretentious about it. You saw what he did in the Edo State election last year. And you saw how he consistently, how he was even celebrating governors of PDP defecting to the APC. He's openly, and even told, he called one governor, that what are you still doing in PDP? Others are defecting. What are you still there? And the rest. So it's clear. He had always worked against the interests of PDP since the campaigns leading to 2023 election. But for now, his status is that the National Convention in Ibadan has expelled him, and that it is the status quo. Whether INEC will pretend about it, and whether the courts may give contrary verdicts, the Supreme Court decision is binding on all persons and all authorities. It says that.
And what's the Supreme Court's verdict, Barrister? Because as we stand now, the INEC has not recognized the Oyo State Convention. It hasn't recognized it yet. So what is the Supreme Court's verdict on that issue?
No, if INEC choose to play the ostrich to hide his face in the sand, that does not in any way alter the position of things as they stand or the position of the law. The Supreme Court decision is that convention, NEC meetings are internal affairs of a political party. And even courts and INEC do not have any authority to interfere. And the PDP have held their convention, rightly or wrongly, and they have both expelled Wike and elected Turaki as the national chairman of PDP. And that is what it stands until the Supreme Court changes its verdict. Only the Supreme Court can change that status quo.
Yes, I understand, Barrister. Only the Supreme Court can change it. But as it stands today, INEC are the agency or the organization responsible for stamping whatever the convention says. And INEC is not stamping it. That the Turaki-led PDP is the substantial head of the PDP. As of today, as of this morning.
That's why the INEC chairman, Joash Amotikpon, if you remember, I gave him about 6-7 things he must do if he must restore the confidence of Nigeria on INEC. Because prior to his coming, more than 98% of Nigerians do not have confidence in INEC. And if you remember, one of the things, my recommendations to him prior to his appointment was that if he must restore the confidence of INEC, the confidence Nigerians should place on INEC, INEC must stay away from the internal affairs of political parties. Whatever political parties decide to do is none of INEC's business. INEC, being called a regulator, is not to dictate to them. Being a regulator, they are like a judge. They must be impartial. They must stand by the side. They must not be participants. They must not be participants. They must be merely observers. Whatever they choose to do and however they choose to do is none of INEC's business. That's their internal affairs. INEC must just observe and receive whatever they do, except a court, the Supreme Court says that in this instance, it is not within the internal affairs of the political party. But as it stands, the law by the Supreme Court, Supreme Court is a policy law, is that the Ibadan Convention is an internal affairs of PDP. So what I expect INEC to do is to accept the Turaki leadership subject to its nullification by the Supreme Court and not the other way around. Because what INEC is doing now is that INEC has now put the PDP in like disarray, that they don't have a leadership, so yes, they cannot have candidates. Yes. That's not what INEC is supposed to do. That's not their duty. What we are supposed to do is that, okay, since nature abhors a vacuum, just like Tinubu's election now, there were a lot of discrepancies, a lot of abnormalities, a lot of absurdities in the electoral process, including the glitch which INEC shamefully announced to Nigerians. But after INEC declared the result, despite these absurdities, Tinubu was still sworn in. Nobody said that, okay, there should be no government in Nigeria until Supreme Court decides. Did anybody do that? So if you say there should be no government in Nigeria, so Nigeria now will be governless. That's exactly what INEC is doing. And INEC is supposed to be the chief protector of democracy. And that in Rivers State, for example, now, INEC refused to conduct by-election because there was state of emergency. But for whatever reason, Ibas, and I know he will be regretting where he is now. And that's why public officers must be careful what they do, because the time they have allotted to them while in office is extremely short. So be careful what you do. Don't please one or two people and ruin your future, ruin your generation, ruin your family name. So I believe Ibas must be regretting what he did. Ibas went ahead and conducted local government elections during a period of emergency to please one or two people. Okay, as wrong as that is, even when INEC is saying that elections are not conducted during a state of emergency, but Ibas did otherwise because he could not wait for the state of emergency to be lifted. Now, those as absurd as that scenario is, people now challenge the election of those local government chairmen. Nobody said that, okay, local government chairman, don't assume office until the courts have decided. Did anybody say that? They were sworn in and they are still in office till today, while the challenge in court of the election is ongoing. So why the double standard? So why will you say in PDP's case that the chairman, the new executives who were elected prior to the expiration of the former executive, they should not assume office? There should be no leadership.
Yes, Barrister, the reason why it is so, you would agree with me, is that Lamido is still in court disputing that convention. He is supposed to be amongst those that would have been on the ballot box, but he was exempted, and that's why INEC has refused to recognize the Turaki-led PDP. So it makes sense, don't you think so?
I'm saying it does not make sense in any way, because INEC is supposed to ensure that political parties are going concern. They continue to exist. They continue to function. INEC should not make regulations, should not carry out functions which like puts political parties into extinction. For now, if except the court intervenes, it means that PDP does not have candidates for FCT election. PDP will not have candidates for Ekiti state election. PDP will not have candidates for Osun state election. How can, and INEC is the defender, the chief promoter and defender of democratic practices and culture. So how can you now put yourself in that position? Now, again, so let me use this opportunity to call on the president of the Court of Appeal, to call on her. And I hope that this will be heard loudly, to ensure that in the same way she ensured, in the same way the president of Court of Appeal ensured that those Rivers State matter on Rivers State budget of 2025, Rivers State, whether the House of Assembly member who defected, whether they are still valid members of the House of Assembly. In the same way, the President of Court of Appeal ensured that those matters were given expedited hearing, in order not to show that there's any double standard. It is the burden, the onus now falls on the President of the Court of Appeal to ensure that this PDP matter, this PDP leadership matter is given expedited hearing. If possible, set up a special panel that we hear this matter within 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, to show that there's no double standard in court, in the courts of appeal. Because why I'm saying this is because when IU was suspended from office, he filed an appeal for reasons best known to the leadership. That appeal was unduly delayed to the extent that IU became so frustrated that he had to withdraw the appeal. So so delay is denial. Justice delayed is justice denied. So if the president of Court of Appeal does not immediately ensure that expedited hearing is given to this PDP leadership matter, it means that it will be seen by majority of Nigerians, including myself, that it is justice delayed in order to ensure justice denied. Because who will benefit? Who will benefit if this PDP leadership matter is delayed? It is the Wike faction that will benefit.
All right. Thank you so very much, Barrister, for your insight. Lots of people would say President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they always say he's a strategist, a political strategist, and you can see how he is playing, ping pong with two brothers, Yeson Wike and Fubara. Both of them now are struggling to get the attention of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Fubara is saying that he is the one that should sing the "On Your Mandate We Shall Stand Better," and Wike is saying that he didn't learn it well.
When it comes to this song, why are they always dragging their feet on?
And while all of this are going on, the average River State man is suffering. River State is supposed to be among the highest cities in sub-Saharan Africa.
While I was growing up, I saw River State. I've heard a lot about River State. And River State is just like they see it as a small London, just like the way they see Calabar. You understand? So you hardly hear issues. Political issues, happening in that state. So I just hope River State should just, or the people handling that state should just, be at peace.
Be at peace for the good of River State people and for the good of Nigerians. But Barrister will still be here to take us on our main conversation in the jiffy when we return. Hard times are ahead. Atiku Obi calls for national reset, of course, as he joins the ADC in 2026. Let's be back. It's still Enterprise Morning. Please don't go anywhere.
I'll be right back.